All right, we have Reba Rambo with us today. What an honor to have you
It's so
to
good,
be with
Daniel, to be
us.
here.
We had the opportunity to be at a Day One event this morning. Got to hear you some, and that was just a great event. We enjoy it every
Thank
year.
you.
Just a little bit about us. We are a relatively new network, but our target audience is actually a younger generation.
Really? Well,
Uh,
that's
our
great.
our our largest audience is under the age of 35.
That is young.
Yeah, and the number that have been downloading our app and listening on that, we have been seeing an increase of almost 1,000 new listeners every month for the
Wow,
last
that's
year.
fabulous.
And so we love the fact that we're taking this music to a new generation.
That's great. That's
So I'd
great.
love them to get to know you and learn more about you. We always say you can hear the artist singing, but we want them to know these are real people and they have a real life story. And we would love for them to learn about you. So would you mind just kind of sharing your story and where God brought you from the beginning and where God's leading you now?
Well, I was born in the hills of Kentucky, and I lived in Dawson Springs, Kentucky for many years. And the Rambos, of course, my mom is the great songwriter, Dottie Rambo, my dad, Buck Rambo. But Mama used to teach sewing at a hosiery mill, and Dad ran a little grocery store, but they would sing almost every night. And long story short, when I was about 13, the girl that they had hired to sing with them was an alto, and my mom's an alto, and two altos and a lead do not make a trio. So one day, in my frustration with the girl, who was a lovely person, but I said, Pat, this is the way the part goes. And my parents looked at me because they had not heard me sing in years, but that was on purpose. I was going to be a doctor, I decided,
There you go.
not a singer. But anyway, my mom started crying, and my dad's got this goofy grin. And Mother said, "Would you sing with us just for a while till we can find somebody else?" And that was 60 years ago.
Temporary for 60 years. There we go.
Yes, yes,
I love that.
yeah. But I have been so blessed to sing with my family, then to have a career on my own in contemporary Christian music. And I had radio stations that had Reba record burning parties because I was too contemporary. Way back in the day.
Yeah,
Haven't we all grown up a whole bunch since then?
yeah, I think so. I hope
And
so.
yeah.
Hope so.
And I write a lot of songs, and what's happening that's fun these days is my daughter and I are traveling together. We do a thing called Rambo Women, and we sing Dottie Rambo songs, my songs, and also my daughter Destiny's songs. So it's really, kind of intercepting and melding together supposedly the generational gap, but we don't really look at it that way. But we do more Americana, and it's just fun. And Destiny's a great singer and a great songwriter. So I'm having the time of my life at almost 74.
Well, it's about time to just kind of start enjoying it
You
a
know,
little bit.
the last 2 years I've had so much fun. I get to travel a lot in churches for church conferences too, and there's a good thing that happens when you cross that 70 line. I don't say I don't care. That's not the thing. It's just, but you don't try so hard. You're just like, I don't have to prove anything anymore. And you're just loving Jesus, loving people, and having fun. If you miss a note, oh well.
Oh, well.
Nobody's going to remember it a year from now.
Yeah, I love that. And I appreciate that because, again, as we're targeting this younger audience, we're learning a lot about them. And one of the things that we've learned about them is they're looking for people and things that are authentic,
Right.
real. They get a whole lot of stuff on social media to the level they know it's just fake.
Yeah.
They're just people are just trying to present something that they're not.
Right.
And you mentioned something I really appreciate. We talk about a generational gap, but there really isn't. We look at it as right now we're all live, we're all right here. It's all one generation.
That's right.
So how do those of us who may have some years on these younger ones, how do we get them the message that we have learned and the wisdom that we have?
Well, first of all, they can learn it. They know for sure if you're real or not. It's like Velveteen Rabbits. Have you become real yet?
Yep.
But they also know if you love them.
Yep.
If you look at them and say, I see you.
Yeah.
I like you. I love you. And they know when there's a heart that really is compassionate and just wanting to just honor them. You know, so many times we said we need to honor the older people. Well, that's great, that's lovely, but I want to honor the young people too, because these days to be a young Christian, to stand up in any way, it can be tough.
Yeah.
But I honor Destiny and I have mutual respect for each other. She honors my music, I honor hers, and bless the Lord, I'm going to sing her music too. And we have fun doing it. We find that agreeable factor.
Good. I love that. I love the fact that we can take what would be considered more traditional, again, what you grew up with,
Sure.
but then realizing there's other styles and other things in there that allows us to be able to communicate a message that they're
Right.
looking for.
Right.
So as you've seen some of the changes, and even some of as you've done, kind of go back to your mom and some of those songs.
yeah.
How is that? How do you feel like that's really come together? Because I think it has.
Well, first of all, Day One Records.
Yeah.
Dusty Wells had the vision to let's honor Dottie Rambo in fresh new ways, and let's have people sing her song that perhaps haven't sung her music that much. And so that's been wonderful. But there's something about a great song, just like a great story. Like I've mentioned the Velveteen Rabbit. You know, that story will live on and on and on and on. It's a great story. A great song is a great song is a great song. Now, you can change it from major key to minor key. You can add a fiddle to it, or you can add a rock and roll guitar. But if it's a great song, it can stand on its own. It can stand an acoustic set, especially if the message, Dusty calls it heart music. If it's heart music and pierces the heart, I'm telling you what, it doesn't matter if it's 10 seconds old or 100 years old, it'll get through.
Yeah. So I have to ask, you put together this album to honor your mom and all those songs, and I'm sitting there going, how in the world is their album big enough to cover all the songs that are so iconic of all these years?
Well, it was funny.
How did you come to put these together?
Well, Dusty sent to a whole bunch of people, said, list your top, was it 20? I think top 20 Dottie Rambo songs. And I'm just started laughing. I'm just like, are you kidding me? But that list, I don't know how many dozens of titles ended up on that list. But how do you do it? But you finally have to say, well, is there a thread that runs through?
Yeah.
Is there a thing that, if you know you want Karen Peck to sing it, you have to stop and think, well, what could she sing that maybe she's never sung before of Dottie Rambo? And you go, oh, the Holy Hills. Because nobody's really sung it since Mama and Vestal.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow, yes.
Now, I mean, I'm sure there have been local groups and stuff, but of course she put her twist on it that was just amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so it was definitely a process, and I smell a volume 2 coming
Yeah, I was
along.
going to say, there's no way you can stop.
And 3 and maybe 4.
There's no way. I mean, I'm just, in my own mind, I was thinking so many. I mean, you're not supposed to, I guess you're not supposed to pass 10, 11, 12 maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, okay, I could think of 20 or 30 right
Yeah.
now.
Well, and there are
So,
other great
yeah.
writers that deserve something like that. I think of people like Lanny Wolfe.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, a lot of times because Bill Gaither does what he does, but yet he is just separate him and Gloria as writers.
Yeah.
They deserve things like that. You know, does that make sense?
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And I look back and you said a good song is a good song. That's
Yeah.
why I think a lot of these songs that we grew up on is really resonating once again with this newer generation.
Well, take Because He Lives. How they took that and made it a worship song. And I'm like, how exciting is that? Because the truth still stands. Truth is truth is truth.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I'm so glad I get to be a part of it. And I refuse to miss it.
Good.
I have a new granddaughter, my first granddaughter, and I'm just like, I'm going to hang around and be a part of her life. And I'm not going to just sit on the porch and follow the shade around. No. I am going to be a part of what God is doing on this planet. And I've decided I'm not going to miss it. If I just have to be standing there waving pom-poms, that's okay too.
Well, I appreciate that because, again, to be able to take the years of what God's done with you and been able to give you such a broad spectrum of even in music, as you mentioned, to be able to now give back, that is so valuable to us. And we love that. In fact, when I first heard that you guys were putting this project together, I'm like, I cannot wait. this is exciting for us.
You know, one of the things too that I love to teach writing. I love to write and work with young songwriters because by teaching them a few principles, I can shave years off their process. You know, Mother will often say, as far as a songwriter, she had no teacher but God. There was nobody having a song school around there, you know,
No,
when she was young like that. But she became a great songwriting teacher. But you learn more with Dottie by just watching her, and because you could learn more just being in the room and watch her process. If you could just get real quiet and her forget that you were there, you learned an awful lot. But I love that, and that's another way to communicate with this generation. Is it, what do you want to say? Let's say it in the best way possible, because I hate to say the rules of songwriting, but the principles of songwriting are the same.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of song you're writing.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate it because we want another generation to step up, and we want them to be able to someday in their 70s and 80s
Right.
be able to sit there going, let me tell you what I've learned, let me pass that on to another generation as
Right.
well.
Right.
So that's why that is our target. That's who we're going after, and that's who we
Good.
want
Well,
specifically.
that's exciting, and I bless you for what you're doing. Apparently, you're doing something right.
Something right, you know. I'm not sure, you know, how much credit anybody can take other than the Lord, because it's just, you know, the vision that we had to be able to say, hey,
That's right, but you know what? The Lord has to have people to work through. Just like the devil has to have people to work through, the Lord has to have people to work through, because that's his way, that's his plan. He has a body that he wants to function through. And I'm so thankful in the body of Christ that he has some people that are into radio and doing it well.
yeah. And he's got all the pieces in the body right where they're supposed to be, doing what
That's
they need to
right.
be doing.
That's right.
So I appreciate that. So where are they going to find this project? How do they find it?
Well, Daywind is going to be able, they can go to Daywind. It'll be at the end of the year, at the latest, the first of next year. But you can also go to RebaRambo.com and you can learn more about me. Or if you want to know more about churches and that side of our ministry, it's RebaRamboMinistries.org.
So tell me a little bit about that as far as working
Well,
with the
I
church
work a
and
lot. I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but Brother Copeland, who I adore, Kenneth Copeland, I do a lot of his crusades. There's a pastor in California, Reverend Nancy Dufresne, who is, if you haven't heard her teach, she is a feast for the ears and the eyes, and she is will just quicken your spirit. But Reverend Nancy Dufresne, I do a lot of her conferences too, and we just have a great time, just loving on Jesus, and we laugh and we praise the Lord, and it's just great. So I still believe in the church. I believe in the church.
I appreciate that. And it is such a powerful thing to be able to help the church get outside of its walls.
That's right.
Get out into the community and where people are at. And that's one of the things I love about the music, because it does get us outside that wall. And
On Rambo
people.
Women, one of the songs that we have is an older song that we wrote, but it says, I'm going to carry the water to the desert and stop this hauling water to the sea.
Oh, I love that.
And that's where our hearts are, and to inspire, not just motivate, but just really to inspire people. You have a mission field right there at Walmart, right there at your school, right there at your office, that you can go and be the light. You don't have to cram the gospel down their throat, and you certainly don't tell them something that's not good news. You're going to hell is not a good news story.
Give them the good news.
Give them the good news, and when you give them the good news, people will respond. Jesus said, if I'm lifted up, I will draw all men unto myself. So encouraging people to see with their eyes their mission field.
Well, thank you for spending some time with us. This has been a joy and an honor to be able to have you with us.
God bless you and your family.
And so much looking forward to be able to get this to that younger audience, because I know they're going to respond to it. So thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. God bless
Appreciate
you.
it.